Welcome back to this edition of Insights, where we're discussing the Thunder Bay International Film Festival. I'm joined by John Bright. He's a survey archaeologist at the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And so we're going to discuss this topic of ocean noise, which I don't think many people know about. So what exactly is ocean noise?
Yeah, ocean noise is an emerging topic of research, and it is literally the study of man-made noise within the ocean. So it's things that are used to do research like sonar equipment. It's the noise generated by the engines and propellers of commercial craft as they're moving through the shipping lanes. It's all of that man-made noise that permeates through water. And noise in the oceans is something that's a particularly interesting topic because water is so much denser than air, and sound is the most ideal way to move some type of communication or signal through the water. So just as the same as we use sound to study the oceans, just the same way that the things we do in the ocean create sound, many of the organisms that live in the ocean also have adapted to use sound. So large marine mammals like whales and dolphins communicate with sound waves and in fact have very complex languages that are associated with very complex social hierarchies within their populations. They use sound to locate predators, to find prey, to look at habitat. It's all part of a really complex set of interactions they have with their environment. So you have natural sound that the animals use, and you have man-made sounds that we produce. In some cases we use it to study, in some cases we use it to explore. And so it's a new topic of research that's trying to find how the man-made sound and the natural sounds interact, and in some cases there are some negative interactions between man-made sound and natural sound.
So just bringing it back a little bit, this ocean noise is something that the military or archaeologists would use to kind of map out the ocean floor, because as you said, it's something that is able to permeate through the water better than...
Right. So if you get on, for example, like just a watercraft, a boat, out in the marina, and you have a fish finder. That fish finder is connected to a transducer, which is a tiny sound-generating device, and it sends a small sound wave out and measures the time it takes for that sound wave to go to the bottom, bounce off the bottom, and then come back to the sensor. That time delay can then be calculated, and you can figure out a depth. So it's something as simple as finding the depth of water, and then we can use that to then map large sections of the bottom of the lake or the ocean. We make nautical charts that way. We can characterize the return sound waves and even describe the kinds of habitat. Is it a rocky bottom? Is it a muddy bottom? That type of thing. So for research, there's a lot of applications for it. And in fact, we use sound waves to do acoustic surveys of the sanctuary to locate shipwrecks. And the military uses versions of sound in water through passive and active sonar, passive being like a microphone underwater that just listens, and you can hear those distant noises of ships traveling by, or the active sonar being waves that they broadcast out that are meant to detect things, and sometimes that active sonar can get so loud that it can interrupt the communications or even harm marine mammals that are in the vicinity of it.
So these mammals, they use a similar kind of ocean noise thing so they can kind of go through the water or like talk to their other animal friends.
Right? All right, well their sound waves or their communication would be probably much more complex than what ours is, because they've had entire languages that we know they communicate. We don't really know what they're saying, but it is a sort of documented, complex interaction of how they communicate through sound.
And so one of the documentaries at the film festival kind of focuses on this idea. And what exactly is that documentary? What's it about?
So the documentary is called Sonic Sea. It's playing on Friday night the 27th here at the Great Lakes Maritime Heritage Center. It's an hour-long documentary made in the U.S., and it goes through this sort of description of what is ocean noise, how has human-generated ocean noise developed through time to the present state that we're at with all of these complex technologies and large amounts of shipping on the ocean, and then what are the natural ocean noises and how do these marine mammals communicate with that? What are the impacts of the two? How some specific instances with for example, seismic testing for the oil and gas industry or the use of sonar by the military might be impacting these, and then some potential solutions for how we could make the human-generated noise in the ocean a little less harmful for the natural environment.
And so you were able to watch the whole documentary. Mm-hmm. So what was the biggest takeaway you got from it?
The biggest takeaway was looking at some of the actual data where they describe patterns of animals and as they change during different periods of, say, high shipping volume or during active military training exercises where they're using large fleets of vessels with active sonar going, and how they can see in real time the behavior of marine mammals changing.
And so why do you think people from the public should come see and learn about this idea of ocean noise?
Well, it's because it's an emerging topic, and we don't want to lose sight of the fact that there are issues that affect things that are in the ocean that might not necessarily affect us in the Great Lakes, but it is all connected. The same shipping that runs through the Great Lakes ultimately ends up in the ocean. The same sanctuary system that has a sanctuary here in Thunder Bay also has sanctuaries throughout the ocean that do have to grapple with this issue. So it's a great way to contextualize the specific types of research and science that we do here with what happens in other sanctuaries and how they handle some of those complex issues.
And are scientists working towards a way to maybe prevent the amount of noise we create that would kind of throw off these marine animals?
Right. Well, it's kind of a mitigation, right? We're going to travel on the ocean. We're going to have our military able to detect vessels. Those are all things that we need to do. So it's figuring out how do they coexist? How do we make commercial vessels quieter or find ways that they don't create as much background noise to disrupt the animals? Or how can we find ways for the Navy to conduct its testing and training in areas that are not concentrations of large marine mammal populations?
And so is this a film for, all ages to come learn about something like this?
Well, there's parts of it that are a little sad. I mean, some of the animals, the marine mammals get hurt, but it is a very good, informative documentary.
Awesome. And so just very quickly, you said the 27th?
It's on the 27th, which is a Friday evening. The doors open at 6. The movies start showing at 7.
And if they want to read more about it, where can they go?
We've got a link on our website to the Film Festival program, and you can also look up the movie itself. It's got its own website as well.
All right, so some fascinating stuff. I hope everyone goes down and maybe checks this movie out.
Absolutely. We love to see them.
Definitely. Thanks for being here. And that will do it for this edition of Insights. So if you want to go down to the film festival, be sure to check it out all next week. And that's all we have for you this week. Be sure to join us again.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.